Right, today we're going to make a ring topper out of the Eezzy Jewellery cabochons and the mandrel and the nut. So first of all, you get your mandrel and you fasten on the screw end the cabochon. And I'm using fusion bead release. You dip your cabochon in the bead release and tap off the excess. Okay, like so. So the bead release will help the cabochon come off. You then get your screw and you screw that on into the middle. This makes the middle of the ring topper. You don't put bead release on the screw because it has to adhere to the glass. So I'm going to leave that one to dry, and we're going to use this one which I prepared earlier. So as you can see, it's dry with the nut on. So you light your flame. Put your oxycon on. Light the flame. Bring the oxygen in. So you heat up your cabochon and your glass at the same time. You need quite a lot of heat in your cabochon because as glass starts to cool, they tend to pop off. So I'm just going to do quite a simple design, but you can do anything on whatever you want. So I'm going to do black and white, and I'm using deep black as my base colour. So I've started to melt my glass, and then I'm going around on the cabochon. Now I only want a small blob in the middle really. I'm not filling all the cabochon up. So you've got to go by eye of what it looks like. Keep applying the glass and keep the heat in the cabochon as well as the back. Keep building up the glass. So I'm going around the edge to neaten the edge off a bit. You can also use various tools to help you. So a marble mould can sometimes help you shape a circle. So I'm going to just try and put it in there. Just gently. This gives you an idea of what you can get a better shape with it. Another way is to use a paddle paddle could be used to smooth edges, to neaten it off. And if you don't want it domed, you can flatten. Like so. Sometimes flattening it can make it easier to put pattern on. I just leave mine like that for now. So again, just warm it round, front and back with the cabochon. Keep the heat in the glass so it doesn't pop off. So we'll get a white stringer. I'm just going to do some simple dots. So heat and ball of glass, press it on, use a flame to cut it off. I'm doing a random pattern, there's no sequence. Like so. You put flowers on, you can do double helix, dichroic, frit, anything to make a pattern. So I'll leave that on for now. So I'll put my decoration on the front, the first bit. Again, heat the cabochon, make sure it's always warm. And then I'm going to put some black dots on the white dots. Again, just get little small amounts of glass and dab it onto the white glass, using the flame to cut it. I'm going to heat those in now, because they're all stuck up. Could leave it like that, but I prefer them to be a bit flatter. And where I'd flattened the black original blob of glass, it is beginning to shape round due to the heat as I'm using it. Don't forget the back. Then I might just put another dot on. So on top of my black dots, put a tiny little white dot. Just layer it up. So they're all on. So we'll heat it all up now, making sure all the spots are melted in. Get back, keep the heat in. Right, the heat is making it go a bit rounder now, so focus on the top, on the sides. Again, use your tools to neaten edges. they're all melted in now. I'll just finish it off. A bit more heat at the top. So that's my ring topper. That's my ring topper, just with some basic dots on. You then put this in your cooling bubbles or in a kiln and leave it to cool. Once it's cool, which I'll show you on here, you unscrew from the mandrel and the little screw is inside the ring. So that would go then on the top of a ring, like so.
So I'm going to make some little ring topper cabochon things. You can use them for rings or you can use them for cabochons. We're going to use the mandrel with the screw on and the little nuts, which I don't think you can see on the nut. So all you do is you get your mandrel and you need to dip it to stop your nut from sticking. Just dip the end of the screw thread and then just screw that on. So, and you're ready to go. Okay. So my oxycon's turned on. Turn the gas on. And again, you want the ball on the oxycon between 4 and 5. Okay. I'm going to use Psyche, and I'm just going to do a plain one with Psyche. Just to show you an easy way of doing it. If you want to do anything else, you can put dots on or flowers, make it into a flower, make it into a ladybird, whatever you want really. It's just what you like. So we heat the glass up first, nice and hot, and then heat the screw. It's nice and hot. And then you just add that round. You don't want to go right over the edge of the screw head, but you want it to cover it. Obviously you don't want to go onto the mandrel. Just let it roll back a little bit. That's it. So that's quite a nice. So I've just got a little bit there. I'm just going to heat again, heating at the back of the Psyche just to let it move back a little bit. Okay, so that's it. It's a plain one, and then you turn your oxygen down. Nice reduction flame. You can see it's black at the moment, and now it's blue. Again, a couple of times, just like that. So that's a plain. Just a plain ring topper, and you just put it in your bubbles, and that was easy peasy. Okay, so I'm going to have a little go at a ladybird on the on the little mandrel with the screw. I've already put the screw on like I showed you last time, so the screw's actually on the mandrel. I dipped it first. There's no bead release on the actual screw head because we want the glass to stick. Turn it a little bit more. So I've got a red glass for the body. Turn it up. Don't need too much, but and then heat your screw thread. Wind it round, and again you want to cover it but not go over the edge, so just hold it on an angle, let it go to the edge of the screw. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. Okay. then we're going to put a little black head on it. So heat where you're going to put the head. Heat the black. Put that on. Just a little bit and let it sink in. And while that's cooling, you want to put some dots on it. Just put 3 on each side. Roll them in. Get a white string and we'll put some eyes on. And a little black stringer for the eyes. So that's your ladybird. You can put little, what are those things called? Antennae on if you want, but when that's cool, we'll show you how it comes out. Obviously it'll go red.
Right, I'm going to show you how to do a bit bigger cabochon. So I've already made this up already. So I've got my mandrel with the screw ends at each end. I've put the large cabochon on, I've dipped it, and then I've put a screw on with no bead release on the screw bit only. That just gives me the option to either put it on a pendant or a ring. It's a bit big for a ring really, but this is one I made earlier, so I'm going to show you how to do it. Put the ox con on, make the torch. Right, so I'm using dark ivory and I'm also using opaque turquoise 232, and I'm just going to pull a few stringers because I want to just do a bit of stringer work on. So just heat a little ball up, and I normally use tweezers, but you can use a rod of glass. You don't need a lot because I use quite fine stringers. So you let it settle and then you just pull. And then leave it to set. Put it in the flame, place it on your rod rest. If you want thicker stringers or thinner stringers, thicker ones you would do a bigger ball and pull slower. If you want really fine ones, little ball and pull a bit faster so it's very thin. So they're thinner ones. It's just broken fun. So we'll use them as a pattern. 232 reacts on dark ivory. So this big cabochon you could buy on its own, or you can buy in the cabochon kit. And you don't have to use it all, you can use part of it, so you don't be daunted by the size of the cabochon. So make sure your cabochon's heated up. Always make sure it's the back as well as the front, as they tend to pop off. It needs more heat. So I usually start in the middle go round, making sure there's plenty of heat. Make sure you heat from the back as well. So I'm coming up to the edge now, so just try and be as neat as you can, going round, following the edge of the cabochon. Okay, so I've gone all the way round. Make sure you heat all the glass. There's a lot of glass on there. And I've got a few gaps, so I'm just going to fill those in. And I've got a little bit at the edge there I've missed out, so I'm just going to tweak that. Just turn the heat up a bit. You can see all my glass is on there. Make sure you keep heating it at all times. Anywhere where you think there needs to be a bit more. So we're going to heat it all in now, all together, make it smooth. A bit more in there. Just got an air bubble there, so I'll fill that in. Takes quite a bit of heat to go all the way around, obviously. And you can use your paddle to start smoothing it. Just watch your edges. Don't forget the back. So this is the first layer of the cabochon. This will be like your canvas or whatever pattern you want to put on. So there we are, that's so far it's all smooth all ready to just do our pattern. So I'm going to use the stringers. Turn my cast on. So I'm just going to do a sort of like a filigree pattern. So I'm going to start at the edge, heat where I want my stringer work to go, place it on and use the heat underneath the stringer to stick it on. Right to the other side. Make sure you heat your stringers in. Again, start again. I'm going from one side to the other, just forming a random pattern. Like so. And you just carry on really, you just make sure you heat the base glass so the stringer stays on. And you heat the stringer work afterwards to make sure it's stuck on. So that's quite a thin stringer. This is a thinner stringer, so I don't know if you can see, it's quite hair thin. Again, you do the same method. Start at one side and use the heat to go to the other. So you keep building your pattern up with whatever you want. Just drop my stringer. And just heat all around again, base and the front. Melt all your stringer work in so it's smooth. Like so. And then I'm just going to use this biggest rod of glass to do some like dots for flowers. Don't forget to keep heating the back and the front and all the glass while you're concentrating. Sometimes makes you forget. So I'm just using the dots as a pattern all over really now. Like so. Again, keep heating it, always heat it. And the turquoise glass will react with the dark ivory. Use like an outer edge, like a shadow. Okay, that'll do everything. Some days you need to know when to stop. So you can heat all those in flat, but I'm going to leave them raised for a change. So I'm just going to heat the tops of them so they're all well adhered to the ivory glass. And that's how to make a large cabochon.